forget your costume.
All sorts of things. Roam free.
The Halloween school bus massacre.
Be quiet.
Why?
You'll bother the neighbors.
Okay.
What is that?
Wait. There's another tradition. Always check your candy.
Something out of me. Weird voices. Lucas! Over here!
You gotta be kidding me.
I hate Halloween.
Welcome everybody to the Cast from the Coast. My name is Adam Miles and I'm joined as always by Tim Johnson and Josh Lambert. Hey guys, how you doing?
Meh.
Meh. Meh. Tim, you're sick.
I'm sick.
And you're still doing the show. This is good.
I know.
I mean, we don't have to sit in the room with you, so it's not like we're going to catch the plague.
I feel like I'm going to catch it through the computer, though. So
Well,
not a lot of sniffing going on.
I am sending bad thoughts your guys' way.
He's sending bad thoughts our way.
So maybe those
Bad
bad thoughts will like manifest themselves as like germs and the things that make people sick, and you know, just you'll be out and some random woman will cough in your direction and boom, you're sick, and I'll be here laughing.
What an ass. This is great. All right. Well, that sucks. Sorry to hear that you're sick, Tim, but you got your coffee and you had a shot of Buckley's.
Yeah, that stuff's gross.
Worst shit in the world, but apparently it works. I don't use that shit, but oh well.
I've never been sick. I don't know.
So how's your week been, though, Tim?
My week's been productive. You know, doing what I always do, editing things and watching stuff and doing stuff. I don't know. It's just nothing out of the normal, really. Nothing out of the normal that I can really talk about.
Okay, well that's good. All right. Well, Josh, how's your week been, buddy?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Watched a couple movies. Did some lollygagging.
Lollygag.
Lollygag.
Good week.
Gotta love that. Gotta love that.
What's
All
funny is that he says that, but do you remember what he said right before we went on air?
Okay, so Josh manages a grocery store chain, one particular area in a grocery store chain, and we were talking about the fact that he's the de facto boss. What is it you said? If you got time for leaning, you got time for
If you
cleaning.
got time to lean, you got time to clean. If you got time to talk, you got time to put up stock.
I think me and Tim were having like PTSD flashbacks of like working at like, you know, retail stores ourselves. It's like, fuck, you were the boss, Josh, but we don't work for you, so we like you. We ain't got to work for your ass, so
No.
that's right. All right, gentlemen, tonight's a good night. Tonight we've got a good topic.
We do.
In this review episode, we're going to talk about a movie that we've never talked about on this show. Well, we might have mentioned it a couple of times, but we've never actually done a review episode on it. Tonight, we are going to talk about Michael Dougherty's Trick or Treat. And that is going to kick off our October, our Halloween season. So Trick or Treat's going to kick off the Halloween season for They Cast from the Coast.
Yep.
Tim or Josh, who'd like to do the synopsis tonight?
I can do it.
Tim,
I'm
go right
not
ahead.
that sick. I'm not bedridden or
Alright, just-
anything.
Sniff it up and give it to us.
Okay. Trick or Treat is basically kind of an anthology movie. 5 interwoven stories that occur on Halloween. And these 5 intersecting stories all take place basically different points of the night from different people's perspectives. We got a high school principal that has a secret life as a serial killer. We got a college virgin that might have just met the guy for her. A group of teenagers to pull off a mean prank. A woman who loathes the night and has to contend with her holiday-obsessed husband. A mean old man that meets his match with a demonic supernatural trick-or-treater. It's such a fun fucking movie.
That's
Trick or Treat from
the best
2007.
2007. That's the best synopsis I think you've almost ever given, Tim. Just a fun fucking movie. Right there to finish it.
So I'm going on Steam, bud. I'm going on literally fumes right now.
Literally fumes.
I'm going to pass out after this episode.
Well, don't pass out right away. We got other shit to talk about and do, but oh well. Okay. So, as with everything, we're going to run through the actual movie itself. We're going to talk about the main points of what we always talk about, and then we're going to rate it using our new rating system. So, let us start, gentlemen, with characters. Characters. The first most prominent character that I would like to bring up, that everybody talks about when they bring up this movie, is obviously the absolutely fucking adorable Sam.
Yep.
Named very, very, very conveniently after Sam Hain, as it was.
You're pronouncing it wrong.
Pronounce it then, Tim.
It's not Sam Hain.
What is it then, Tim?
I got scolded. I can't remember, but I know it's not Sam Hain.
You can't correct
Sam
me, but I
Bean or
can't remember
something
what
like
it is. Sam Hain.
No. But I got corrected before, and I was embarrassed because that's not, I guess, the proper. But for the sake of argument, Adam, keep saying it like you say it.
I'm just gonna say Sam from now on.
Or Sam Hain. Fuck it.
Sam
Fuck
Hain.
it. This is our show. We can say words
Sam Hain. I don't give a
however we
shit.
want.
That's right. Sam Hain. Motherfuckers.
Sam Hain.
So, Sam Hain. So, Sam, who's played by a kid in this movie, which I think was a perfect idea, because normally when they get like a child-sized character in a suit, and you can't really see who the character is, they usually get like a little person to play them. But in this case, they actually did get a child because they wanted Sam to come across as a child. So he has childlike tendencies. His everything from the way that he sits up to the way that he grabs at stuff and hesitates and kind of stares at people. The body language with the way that this kid played Sam was absolutely amazing. And he won like some sort of like a couple. Well, he won like a couple of like awards, like horror type awards, like in different festivals, for his portrayal of this character.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those endearing like characters that like I put Sam up there with the rest of the horror icons. And he only had one movie.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's
There's just something about the character design, and like you said, Adam, the fact that he had this very childlike kind of attitude until he takes off, you know, the burlap sack around his head, and no, he's a little demon.
So, I've actually never seen this movie until now, which is surprising because it's really
I honestly thought, I've never actually seen this movie, and you're about to review it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I watched it. But I gotta say, like, Sam, the costume design of Sam is awesome. Until that moment when he pulls the hood off. I was like, what the actual fuck is this? It's like Pumpkinhead's deformed child.
Yes, but the rationale behind that is pumpkins are supposed to be derivative of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
Do you?
Yeah.
You don't like it?
No,
Uh-huh.
I don't. They should have kept the hood on. There was no reason. It's unnecessary. I didn't like it.
I mean, fair enough, but I kind of like the character design and the creature design behind it, but I like the fact that it wasn't kind of like Jason Voorhees without the mask. It's more iconic to keep the burlap sack on, And yes,
Yeah.
the reveal happens, but then the hood goes back on at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, there's a reveal of what's really going on. It's not a child. Because throughout the movie, everybody just treats him like a child.
Yeah.
Whenever they come in contact with him. So now you see, it's really not a child. And then the hood goes back on. And in adorable fashion, he just kind of goes about his business. You know what I mean? Like,
Continue
he's done.
trick-or-treating.
He's just going to go continue
I guess
trick-or-treating.
he's kind of like the embodiment of, like, Halloween. He's like the Halloween demon, I guess. So
Yeah.
I kind of get it. But,
Well, that's exactly what he is.
yeah.
Yeah. And it all comes down to the rules. Right? The rules. You
Yeah.
don't blow out the pumpkins, before Halloween ends. Always check your
Always
candy.
check your candy.
That's right. And there's like one or two other ones, but like those are the big ones that they really push in the movie, right? Being respectful of Halloween and Samhain or Samhain or whatever you want to pronounce it. So, but Sam is a great design of a character, and it's a simplistic costume.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's a onesie with like patches on it. Like literally, like some costume designer came up with gold by literally just buying like a child's onesie. It's fantastic. So cool. Moving away from Sam, he appears in like the movie all over the place in various little ways and interaction with the characters. But let's start from the beginning a little bit more so than anything. So you brought up that one of the characters, Tim, is a woman who basically has to deal with her husband's obsession for Halloween, played by Leslie Bibb. So the woman who plays it, Leslie Bibb.
What a babe!
She's great. She's great. It kind of a weird relationship that they have because they're both like drunk out of their minds when they come home. They're both like buzzed right up. And she's like, I want to take all this shit down. My mother's coming early in the morning. And he's like, I'll do it in the morning. And then she like just gives in and goes, you go to bed and watch the tape. And it's like, the fuck is she talking about?
No, there was no what is she talking about. I knew it was a Grease film immediately.
It was a greasy, greasy fucking film. And like he pulls it out of like the cassette thing, and it's like, was it like a
nature film
or something like that? Documentary. Next thing you know, all you hear is, oh. He's laying out.
Adam,
laying on the
don't
bed.
ever fucking do that again. Okay? Ever again. I am saying this serious. Don't ever do that again.
At least not while you have headphones on and are talking to me. So,
yes.
Okay.
You doing your own time off the show is none of our business. That's
right. But she brings upon the wrath of Sam as he's watching her blow out a pumpkin before it's early.
Rules.
And she starts taking down the decorations, and she's not doing it necessarily in a mean way, but she's drunk and she's a little bit pissy because she's got to do it because she ain't got the help of her husband.
And done with Halloween.
And done with Halloween. So, great character for her initially because it starts to show the fact that it doesn't matter who you are, you piss off Sam, he's coming for you. Really is what it is. And it's a good way to introduce Sam into the movie, and it's a good way to introduce everything that's going on. I like the creepiness aspect of that episodic portion of it. And actually, the one thing that's the most memorable part of that entire sequence in the beginning for me was when she actually does pull off and kind of see Sam when she pulls that sheet at first, and he jumps at her, and they're struggling, and he takes her throat. If you look, as basically the sheet that they're under struggling on is just covered in blood, there's nothing but steam. If you look at it very closely, all you can see is steam rising up off of the sheets. Because it was just, it's warm blood, basically cold night. And it was great, because at that point, it's almost like an exhaust of just, there she is. It's almost like her life escaping at that point, too.
Well, it's funny, because I'm actually, I got the movie playing in the background right now as we talk. Mm-hmm. And I love how you're like, if you watch closely, but you just see it. It's not like it's a hidden detail.
I didn't notice it the first time I ever watched the movie.
I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you both wear fucking glasses. No wonder. Eagle-eyed Tim saw it first time. Eagle Eye Tim. Anyways, yeah. I'm sorry, Adam. Go ahead.
No, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with that segment.
Call it. Call it.
I'm calling
No.
it.
No, but no, you're absolutely right though. It definitely little details like that, like with the steam coming off, it not only sets the tone of, hey, this is fall weather and it's cold outside, but yes, that's what would happen if heat. Science, guys, science, scientifically,
and all that stuff.
Yeah. Science.
All right. So, anything to add about those characters in that sequence?
I thought it was a great way to start the movie.
Yeah, and I love that you continue as the movie progresses and the scenes actually take place prior. You see those same characters again and again.
Well, I also like that, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but, when you're watching any particular one of these stories as the movie's going on, there's always characters from other stories.
Yeah.
Like, when she's taking down the stuff and she looks across the street, there's the guy with the white mask.
Yeah.
Right? And, you're like, who the fuck is this guy? And then all of a sudden, Sam attacks her underneath the sheet, right? So, the Buckleys guys, I'm sorry.
You got a good point, though, Tim. The fact that we'd already brought this up during the synopsis, but it's a continual thing that happens in the movie, is that all of the sequences intertwine. And they happen at different timelines throughout the night.
Yeah.
So it'll jump a little bit, and then all of a sudden you see a character that just died is standing there in this sequence, but then you can see something else that happens that tells you where in the timeline roughly this occurs. And you can kind of tell where things are going. And it was really ingenious the way that Dougherty kind of did this for his first real, movie. No wonder the guy, has the career now that he does. You know what I mean? He just pulled off, was it King of the Monsters, Godzilla? Yeah. Okay, you go from doing this little animated short called Season's Greetings, which is the inspiration with Sam in it, which is a little animated film. It's on YouTube if you want to see it, people. And next thing you know, he's got movie after movie just being thrown at him. And we already talked about one of his other ones, Krampus. We talked about that there before, which we'll probably revisit at one point because it's a good movie, right? In December coming up, so.
And you were talking earlier about how all of his films exist in the same universe, and he's openly talked about this. And we see Easter eggs from Trick or Treat in Krampus.
Yeah, Sam's lollipop appears in Krampus, and there's another sequence where people say that they saw Sam in one of the alternate endings in
one of the snow globes?
In one of the snow globes in a lair or something like that, yeah.
I don't know if I believe that, because I haven't seen it. But
the lollipop's definitely there. I saw that.
Yeah. Okay. So, second sequence that appears in the movie. This one I really enjoyed. I enjoyed them all, but this one was really... This one, it kind of took you for a little bit of a twist and a turn. You expect one thing and it's something entirely different. But I like how it begins. So it starts off with the character. What do they call it? What's his name? It's
might as well just be Little Shit.
Yeah, Little Shit. Right? And basically he's smashing pumpkins. And he arrives at the house of the principal for his school, the principal. And he's it's got one of those honor system candy bowls, and he's dumping all the shit. And then all of a sudden you hear, "Can't be good for your diabetes."
That was really good. But see, the way that they set him up as he's walking, as soon as the really cool credit scene where it almost looks like a Tales from the Crypt comic book, where it's showing all the things. I love how... Well, yeah, are we just calling him Little Shit?
Yeah, we're just going to call him Little Shit.
I love how he's walking through the town. You never see him, but you already know he's a piece of shit. Because he's got that fucking bag of candy, just dragging it, and the dirt, it's all dirty and shit.
Wet and everything else.
He doesn't give a fuck. He's just walking, right?
Yeah. The candy.
But I just liked how they set him up. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And when you're watching that sequence at the beginning, you see the principal. He walks by the principal. The principal's just coming out of the store with the knife that he had just bought.
Yeah.
And you see like the robot chick, which is Leslie Bibb from the other sequence, and all this kind of shit. So he just walks through, and yeah, he's smashing pumpkins and shit and everything else, and
You know immediately he's just a little shit.
he's just a little asshole.
Yeah.
But it's great in the sequence. And once again, all the sequences really have to do with telling some sort of a be wary of what you do on Halloween story, because like the Leslie Bibb one was don't blow out your pumpkin.
Yes, but the second one, it's weird because the second one is one of the few ones that sets up all the stories. Because yes, you see the fat kid walking through town, little shit walking through town, but then it cuts to the girls in the costume shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and you stay with them for a couple minutes, and then and this is the only real story, the real segment that does that.
Yeah.
Before they all get their own individual kind of sections, right?
True.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Tim. All right.
Buckley's.
No, but it's not like I'm just talking out of my ass. Like,
No,
I'm
you're
watching
being
the fucking
truthful.
movie right now.
Yes, I know.
So the principal handed out like tainted chocolate or whatever.
Handed out
And he
cookie chocolate.
gets the little shit, and he ends up bringing him downstairs and like trying to murder him.
But before
Pretty
he
well.
gets to that point, though, the vomit scene.
Yes.
It's like, what the shit? He's like, you can hear the gurgling, and he looks over and he goes, "Do you need a root beer?" or something like this, right? And it's like, what? And all of a sudden he just, brrr, and it's like, it looks like a recreation of the blueberry pie vomit scene from Stand By Me. The way that they just did it as a chocolatey vomit that's just
Can you do more of Dylan Baker's fucking voice?
I love Dylan Baker's voice in that. Billy, it's just go to sleep, Billy.
Do you want to know? But see, like, I can hear it and it's good, but you almost got like some George W. Bush,
Yeah.
some
got
George
it.
Bush
Southern
mixed in
twang.
with the guy from The Simpsons with the one arm. That's the vibe I'm getting when you do that voice.
That's funny because it's all like the same character.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's all the
Pretty
same
much.
character. That's right. But
It's
yeah,
not gonna help your diabetes.
it's not going to help your diabetes. So the massive vomit scene happens, and it's like chocolate and blood because he gets it all over his shirt, which is hilarious because when people start seeing him, they're just like, "Oh, that's a great costume," and he's like, "Oh yeah, costume! That's exactly what it is. Yeah, ooh. You know what I mean?" Oh man. So he drags me down to the basement and then takes care of him, so to speak. But then I love the sequence with him in the backyard. And he's actually burying the little shit.
Yeah.
He's like trying to hit him with the damn shovel, and the kid's yelling at him at the window. "Shut up, Billy! Charlie Brown's an asshole!"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's probably one of the funniest scenes in the movie for me, I think, when he's out there like trying to bury the kid, and he's like, "Billy, be quiet." And the kid just said, "Yeah, Dad, can we go carve the pumpkins, Dad?"
Billy, you gotta keep your voice down. Yeah, you gotta help me with the eyes. Oh man, no, it's great. So very comedic in a lot of ways with Dylan Baker's character. I thought he was fantastic, and I really didn't know a lot about Dylan Baker. I still don't really know a lot about his roles anyway, but he's a great actor in this movie, and he's got a very unique look to him with the glasses.
He almost reminds me of
himself.
He reminds me of Gary Sinise. That's kind of
Good
who
call. I can
reminds
see
me.
that. I can see that. Yeah, good call. Okay, so Dylan Baker's character, the principal, is probably
Steven.
Steven.
His name is Steven.
Steven. Yes. He's probably one of my favorite characters in the movie, just because he does appear, actually, at some pretty integral times in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually probably more prominent holding the story together than a lot of the other characters. And he appears
pretty
'cause
much every one of them. I think
Yeah.
he's only not in one.
yeah. Because he appears in his own.
Yeah.
He appears on the street when the girls are out and about. And he appears obviously at the werewolf convention itself, and he appears
The werewolf.
Sheep's Meadow, the convention.
WolfCon.
WolfCon. And like he appears in like various locations throughout the movie, and he appears in the Brian Cox story because he's Brian Cox's neighbor.
Yeah.
When Brian Cox is giving him shit, he's giving Brian Cox shit back when he's finally getting it. So, yeah. Okay, so love that sequence. Love that character. Let's just move right into, obviously, with one of the most famous actors that's in this movie. There's really kind of two of the biggest ones, but Anna Paquin.
Yeah.
Right? So, it's funny that a movie with Anna Paquin in it sat on the shelf for so long before distribution occurred, because for anybody who doesn't really know, Warner Brothers basically shelved this movie at first. They didn't think.
You want to know what's weird?
What's that?
Is I saw this movie. I remember getting this movie from Blockbuster, right? And watched it with my, at that point, girlfriend, and we watched it, and it was good, and I loved it. And then all of a sudden, I started seeing trailers for it maybe the next year that it was coming out. And I'm like, I fucking saw this movie already, right?
That is weird.
That is weird. Like, I remember watching this movie going, man, how come this wasn't in theaters and blah, 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 right? But I watched this movie before I saw the trailers.
Was it like a screener that Blockbuster would have gotten in? Because you worked at Blockbuster.
Yeah, but this was before I worked at Blockbuster, though.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
I think
Because What? Go ahead. Tim just what?
did some drugs or something.
Nope.
He was on the Buckleys.
I was on the Buckleys. No, I swear to you, like, I watched this movie, and then it must have been, like, the next year. You know, new to the theaters, blah, 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 like a trailer. And I'm like, what the fuck? I already watched this.
But
Well,
did they have a DVD release before they were in theaters?
Now,
I don't know.
That's a good point. They did. Because
Okay.
Josh.
the movie was originally shelved. And then they put it out for a limited DVD and Blu-ray release. Because I actually bought it when it came out on that limited DVD Blu-ray release. Because I had been so excited to see it and the trailers and everything else. I wanted to see this movie. And I bought it, and I still have that copy. And then it went to theaters. And it wasn't playing anywhere where I could easily get to it. So I just, I already had a copy of it. And then it came out in wider scale because it started gaining in popularity. As soon as they put it out on DVD, it was like The Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, it got a cult following after the fact.
It got a cult following after the fact. It was shelved originally by the production company. It was put out in limited release, and then it's just like it exploded in massive popularity. And then they did like a limited theater screenings for it, and then more theater screenings for it, and then it's had a following ever since.
I like the idea more that Tim just saw an imaginary film in his mind.
Because he was on the Buckleys.
It's on the
He
Buckleys.
was on the Buckleys.
Oh.
All right, so Anna Paquin. So this is a very good sequence that actually had some. When you see the second part of the sequence later on in the movie, had some really good effects in it that were done by Patrick Tatopoulos and his group. Patrick Tatopoulos he's the one who did all the lichens for the Underworld movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he designed the Underworld lichens, and then he designs the lichens for this low budget movie as well for Michael Dougherty, and they look fucking phenomenal. And I love the sequence where they're ripping off their flesh.
Yeah.
And it's just they're werewolves underneath, and then they start to expand and grow, and it's just wow, like really well done.
So there were a lot of twists in the movie, and like each segment had like its own little twist. This is one of the ones that I picked up on before it happened. I was like, yeah, they're werewolves. Definitely werewolves.
If you go back and you watch the movie a second time and you listen to their conversations, everything is about literally eating people and they're going to a party at a place called Sheep's Meadow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, a wolf in sheep's clothing type of thing, and she's Little Red Riding Hood is her character.
And she calls her the runt of the family.
The runt of the litter.
There's a whole bunch of references. They were just like, yeah, they're clearly werewolves.
Clearly werewolves.
Clearly.
Josh picked up on that right away.
I did.
But Anna Paquin's character was cute in the movie. She was the shy, timid, I don't know what I'm doing, virgin.
Yeah.
right? And the whole time that you're seeing this character, you think, okay, they're like at first, if you're not as smart as Josh, you know,
Yeah, well,
you think that they're just talking about sex, right?
No.
And she it's kind of funny, you know, that this character just, you know, she's shy and timid, and she wants her first time to be special. It's great. But I love the sisters too, like the group of them. I just call them the sisters, but the whole group of them, the pack, they're all funny in their own way.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And they're all hot.
There you go, Tim.
My God.
That's all Tim looks at. He's like,
My
they're
God.
hot.
The babe alert.
No, there's no. That's not all Tim's about. Come on now, fellas.
It's not
Tim
what
has
Tim's
multiple layers.
He has multiple
Yeah.
layers. That's right. All right, guys. Guess what we're gonna do?
We're going to take our first break.
We are going to take our first break, and then when we come back, we're going to continue to talk about this amazing movie, and we're going to get a little bit more in depth into the different sequences and the characters, and then we'll go
Peel
a little
back
bit
the
more
layers.
Peel back the layers. And
Peel
we'll go
back
from
the
there.
layers a little bit.
That's right. All right, guys. Coming back in a minute.
Hi everybody, this is Vincent DeSanti, the writer and director of Friday the 13th fan film Never Hike Alone, and you are listening to the great commentary of They Cast from the Coast. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to check out Never Hike Alone, which is streaming for free on YouTube right now.
And we're back. Let's continue on with this episode, gentlemen. So
Okay.
So we just talked about Anna Paquin and those characters. We'll come back to the actual sequences, and we'll talk a little bit more about the effects work and stuff here shortly. Next sequence. What was the next sequence, guys?
Rhonda the Savant.
Well, you kind of jumped over a little bit if you want to do it in kind of continuity. Okay, so we did Steven and Little Shit. We already did the Leslie Bibb thing, but then they set up the whole thing with some more of the werewolf chicks.
Yes, they talked about
And
the
then-
werewolf chicks.
And then after the werewolf chicks,
It's Rhonda the Savant, isn't it? The kids.
Right,
They,
it's Rhonda, with the idiot
Yeah.
savant. Yeah.
Nope. It's they set up the whole vampire thing, the guy in the mask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the vampire thing. So the guy in the mask. But for all intents and purposes, we already did kind of talk about him because it's.
But
the
did we
principal.
though?
But it's the principal.
Did
Yeah.
we
Of the matter.
though?
Yeah, kind of maybe. I guess.
Principal lives
Yeah,
his
but there was
double
the
life.
scene where he bit the chick in the
Yeah.
alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I'm watching this movie, that's what I want my town to be like. Like the Halloween
I was thinking this
celebration.
town is fucked, man. Like this town's got werewolves and vampires and
Yeah.
Okay.
idiot savants running
fuck are
around
you talking
carving
about,
hundreds
Adam?
of
Okay,
pumpkins.
without the zombies and the werewolves and the vampires. I mean, just
This is like living in
celebration.
Gotham City. Like, get the fuck out of town.
Fine, whatever, jerks.
I want to
I give
live in a
in.
fucking violent place where
Yeah,
there's
this is a
monsters.
bad neighborhood.
Shut up, dicks. All right. So yeah. So
You
so,
know?
so the next shit. So the next the sequence that they start to introduce more characters, or what you would assume be more characters. You have a vampire basically running through the crowds, and he gets that one girl, and he bites her on the neck. They're like making out, and he bites her on the neck, and then he like hunts her down and kills her, basically in
As
front of everybody.
Vampire would.
Yeah,
But the thing that I really liked about that particular sequence was, even though, you know, you're seeing a vampire and wearing a mask chasing this girl, it had almost like a Jack the Ripper vibe.
Yeah.
Because it was like really tight little alleyways, and like how he laid her
cloak.
down in the crowd, right?
Yeah, and
But
she's,
yeah,
and she's
the
wearing
next
like a
one right after
Victorian era type
Yeah.
of clothing, isn't she?
Yeah, and he is too, with the little mask.
Cape and the mask, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Very
the next one,
Yeah.
the next sequence is the kids.
the kids. Now, overall, this is my favorite sequence of the movie.
Oh, yeah?
This is my favorite sequence of the movie at all.
Is it
like,
though?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I'm done. I will not do that.
I'm
again.
done. Is it though? All right.
Are you though?
Are you though? But this
It does
is
have
like,
my favorite scene. I will agree to that.
what's your favorite scene in this?
The ending when she goes up the elevator.
With,
And she's like, yeah, fuck y'all.
Yeah, it is a real empowering scenario for her, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Because, she gets the last laugh. But I love the visual aspect of the history of the bus and the quarry. In the quarry. That flashback sequence, showing them all on the bus, all the kids, and the homemade masks that they have and shit, that is almost creepier than anything that you produce nowadays. The shit that they were wearing.
The whole concept is deranged.
It's deranged and
So there's
disturbing.
Eight families have these special need kids, and they pay the bus driver to drive them off a cliff? That's insane!
That's dark.
It is a town's
The town
dirty
Adam wants to
secret.
live
It's
in.
exactly what it comes down to. Right? The dirty little secret. And not just drive them off the cliff, like he goes around with the candy
Shackle
bucket
them in.
and he's got them shackled into the goddamn bus. And he's like praising them. Here you go. And he's like giving them a candy for not unbuckling themselves, basically, is what it is. But you've got the savant type character in the half vampire mask who knows. He's the only one who really knows what's going on, because as they're driving around, it's like
Take the wrong turn.
he knew that he took the wrong turn, because and I knew a kid like this in school. He would literally, everything that he did was almost OCD. You got to touch a doorknob a certain amount of times, or you got to whatever. He was counting the houses and the numbers on the houses as they went. So the moment that they stopped and they took a turn, he was like, "We're going the wrong way," because he knew. You know what I mean? Like it was out of his normal territory. It was out of his comfort zone at that point.
Yeah.
And he kind of turns into you think he's like a hero character, and then that's just, it's even worse at that point. Like, it gets worse. But the visual aspect of this, the hazy, very classic derivative look of, them sitting on the bus, and all you can see is them on the bus, and it's just the homemade costumes and shit, and he's walking up and down the aisle, and giving them candy and stuff.
Well, and I love how the flashback kind of has like this, it's sepia tone to it.
Yeah,
and like
glow.
Yeah, and the masks though.
Oh man,
like they're so simple. Like there's a little bunny and a Dracula and like
the paper
they're so
bag
classic.
with like the cutout magazine.
Yeah,
mouth.
like that's creepy as fuck.
Oh man, yeah.
I think this scene is the reason why I didn't like the reveal for Sam, because I felt they were setting it up so that one of the kids escaped and that was Sam. And then when Sam got revealed as this like demon pumpkin thing, it was disappointing to me.
Oh, okay.
You don't like
I
the
thought it
fact
was
that
gonna be
Sam
the
is
kid
the
that got
fucking
out.
spirit of Halloween?
That's cool. I just
I
felt like it was setting it up so that it was going to be the kid that got out, and he came back to like, I don't know, get revenge or something.
Would have been an interesting way to do it. But then again, technically, the revenge does occur still in the end anyway. And when you come down to it in the full sequence, Brian Cox plays the aged bus driver. In a twist in the end, you find out that that's who he was. And it's like the seasons finally come back to haunt him. And it's like a final showdown for him against Sam Hain and Halloween, as it were. And I love Brian Cox. He's a great actor. I love him in like Super Troopers and everything that he does. And this is no different. This is no different. And it's funny because one of the first things I seen, and I wasn't the first person to say this. A couple of somebody else that I was talking to said the same thing. His look was the disheveled look. I said it really sparked and reminded me of somebody, the way that he looked and acted. And somebody said he kind of looks and acts like John Carpenter.
I think that was intentional, wasn't it?
And it was. It turned out like when you're actually looking into it. And Dougherty said in an interview once, he said, "Yeah, I modeled the character after one of my favorite directors, John Carpenter. He thought it was great."
Hey, I know who that guy is.
Yeah, he makes some movies. I don't know, some bullshit stuff. Popular in the 70s and 80s.
Garbage.
What
Bullshit.
the fuck,
Average
Josh?
bullshit.
I was just kidding, but
And he made another callback to Carpenter because they did the thing He made the Thing reference.
Oh, the
He
hand.
goes, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!"
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're fucking kidding me. Yeah. So Brian Cox's character is haunted by Halloween, as it were, for his role in the death of the children, the town's little secret, and it's it's time to pay the price in this case. And
He definitely got ripped off too, because he wasn't like living a super lavish lifestyle.
Yeah, it's not like they paid him $1 million to go away.
I feel like he didn't make very much money to drive these kids off the bus.
Like, if I was going to do that, I want to be I want to be paid well for the rest of my
I'm gonna just move to the Bahamas for the rest of my life, or Hawaii.
He didn't
or
even
some
leave
shit.
town.
He didn't even leave. So that's the only weird thing about that, I gotta admit. He didn't even leave town. So it's like this bus of students went missing, but the bus driver still lives in town, by the way.
Yeah.
And there's no explanation. So that is kind of weird. Maybe that's the plot hole. You know what I mean? Little plot hole going on. I don't know. But then again,
They
he
didn't
also
pay him
changed his
enough
looks
to leave
entirely.
town.
Yeah. He bought that one ticket, but was late for the bus.
Yeah.
So the bus left without him. It's terrible. It's terrible. But this story intertwines with the principal story. Because they're neighbors. And we see them, kind of crossing reference at one point or another as well. Plus it intertwines with the kids, the ghost story of the kids with the bus, because it kind of starts as two different stories. You got the kids at the quarry that are playing the trick, and then you got this home invasion type of scenario where you find out that he's the bus driver. And the ending sequence was always great for me. I loved it. He's sitting there all beaten and battered and bruised and, basically, missing digits, and he's got the fucking bandages, and he's wheezing and hacking and coughing, and he's happily giving candy out to the kids now. He's like, I live. You know what I mean? And then fucking zombies take him out. It's such a downer ending in that way, because it's like he almost looks like he's got a lease on life, a second lease on life.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you think the whole Scrooge or whatchamacallit, It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, good call.
Like that kind of vibe, but no, we're gonna kill him anyway.
And not just that, the comic book sequence that appears at the end, he's violently torn apart. It isn't just they kill him. There's shit ripped off and thrown everywhere, and he's violently murdered. Okay, so let's go back and talk about the actual effects work that's in this movie for a minute. So, overall, the effects work in this movie was really well done. So, even though it was a movie that was low budget in comparison to everything else that was coming out for, release spectacles at the time, it holds. It holds really damn well. Right down to, the simple slashing of people's throats, Leslie Bibb, to, where she's basically up on the thing with the lollipop in her mouth, and it kind of looks a little bit corny, but it's really not. It actually suits. It looks good. You know what I mean? Down to, once again, they had Patrick Tatopoulos doing the lichens, right? So, talk about it, gentlemen. The effects work.
Effects were good.
Yeah, I agree with you, Adam. They're timeless. I mean, I watch this movie now. It came out 2007, 2006?
Yeah,
2007. And yeah, the effects are just as good as, something you'd see today. Even my favorite part was, the werewolves when the stretches, their skin rips off. But I love this movie.
I like the effects. Some of the costume choices I didn't really care for. The zombie kids. I didn't think those were... Didn't like those.
You mean the actual zombie kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
Josh is just a fucking hater tonight, man.
Didn't like how it looked. I don't know.
No, I mean, fair enough. You can like or dislike whatever you wish to. It doesn't mean you're right, Josh.
Well, I am, though.
But I am. That's right.
Yeah, they were kind of meh.
They were kind of meh.
But the other costumes, the werewolves were done really well. But you had the supreme name in werewolves doing it.
Pretty much.
Trying to think of some of the other costumes. Yeah, like the supernatural stuff is, and the pumpkin head. I just couldn't get over it. It was weird.
This is little pumpkin head. I
Wasn't
couldn't get
expecting
past it.
No,
Well, that's what you don't expect it. That's the big thing, right?
that's
You
true.
just
That
assume
was
it's
the
a kid,
reveal. That's the point. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it is something that's entirely what you not would expect. Like it
I
really
agree.
is out of this realm of what the fuck did I just see?
Yep.
So. But the gore's good, the blood's good, the
Yeah.
fun in the movie is there, and they really did do a good job holding that all together in all the different sequences for how people died, or the effects work in general that was needed for them all. And like I said, still my favorite effect sequence. It might not even actually be the gore, but my favorite sequence in the entire movie, an effects-driven sequence, was actually when the bus goes over the quarry. And then the camera follows over.
Yeah.
Just that's a money shot. That was just beautiful the way that they did that, and that was probably a big part of their budget just to get that effect right, the way that it went over, and it was just silent. And then the camera folds over, and you see the bus in the water.
I love how Sam's like lollipop is like his iconic weapon, and you see the promotional material, and you see him like bite out of it, and that's when it happens. I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, there was a horror block that actually had Sam's lollipop in it.
Yeah. I want that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, a couple of years ago, I actually
Michelle.
wanted Anthony to dress up as Sam.
Yeah, we were planning the costume. I was going to help you with the mask, and we just never got around to it.
Yeah, never got around to it.
That's a super easy one to do. What are you all the characters doing?
He's too tall. Just like when he was 4, I was going to get him. I was going to dress him up as Chucky.
Yeah.
But because he had a big head of red hair, right? Why wouldn't I do that? But I couldn't find the shirt.
Just couldn't find the shirt.
No. Curse me and my attention to detail and making everything, accurate.
Screen accurate.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
So what was your favorite death?
Favorite death? Good question. Tim?
I would have to say my favorite was probably Steven. Only because the whole movie he's set up as like this kind of untouchable villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then all of a sudden he got fucked over and you know what I mean? And like
he went after the wrong person.
Yeah, and my favorite visual is how like I said, how they take the skin off, and it almost like you see the fingernail go down the back like it's like a zipper, and like they're ripping it off, and it's like they're taking off their clothes, but it's really their skin. And I love how Anna Paquin is like sitting on Steven, and then the wolf comes in the side, and it's like, this is her first kill, and just how like her eyes change. She's got the fan. Yeah, that's my favorite. And then it cuts to like Sam sitting on a log just watching it all, right? But I mean, I also love Brian Cox's death. And I don't know.
I love them all. It's great.
I love this movie.
Josh, what's your favorite death?
So you don't see it, but I've already mentioned like that scene where Rhonda's closing the elevator, and you just hear the swarms of the zombie kids kill the dicks that were like picking on her.
Yeah.
The dicks that were picking on her. All right, I definitely have to agree with Josh when it comes to my favorite death scene. I think that those kids really did get what they deserved. And and it was very much so, but it was a satisfying. They were all satisfying, which is the worst part. Like like when the principal gets you don't really feel bad for the principal, and you kind of feel good for Anna Paquin because it's like her first kill. You know what I mean? But then when Rhonda kind of gets the best of them, and it was great too because she moves the pumpkin, she grabs the keys, and then just. Nope, fuck you. Click the button instead.
The only unjustified death is that girl in the front, the first. She just wanted to clean up the house.
Yeah, she was fucking done with Halloween. Like, I just want to go to bed.
She had a bad attitude, and she blew at the pumpkin. She deserved it.
Leslie Bibb did not deserve to die. Okay? She did not.
Hashtag
Deserve it.
justice for Leslie.
Justice for Leslie. Or Emma was her name in the movie.
Emma was her name in the movie. Oh, well. Alright, so favorite deaths. That kind of wraps that up. So, if you had to talk about your favorite scene in the movie, not just death, favorite overall, because we kind of already touched on this a little bit, but just, Josh, your favorite overall sequence. Well, we'll say sequence. Your favorite sequence of the movie.
I'll call it my favorite gag.
Okay.
So when the kids that were
What is this, a fucking comedy now?
Wanda, when they went trick or treating, and it was like the substitute teacher or whatever opens up the door. There's like a party going on in the background.
The swingers party.
Yeah. And then one of the kids looks at the other one and says, "What did we just see?" And he goes something about the coach in a hot dog suit banging a girl dressed in a pig costume or something.
Yeah.
And then in the werewolf scene, you see the fucking guy in the hot dog suit.
Yes! You see them roll the hot dog suit over. Yeah. It's good.
Attention to detail.
And that's the big thing about this movie is that, once again, like we said, everything kind of intertwines. I
feel like if you watch this movie like 10 times, you'd see something else every time.
Every time. And I gotta admit, I never noticed the hot dog scene until it was like last year when I watched the movie. I was like, holy shit, the hot dog, that's the coach.
Yeah.
He went off to another party. You know what I mean? Tim, sequence favorite.
I just said.
The werewolves.
I love the werewolf scene. I mean, I love the whole movie. Like, every part of it I like. But, I don't know. And I also like how, like, the scene starts around the fire and they're about to kill everybody and they all get their fangs and you're like, wait a minute, are these vampires? And then it turns into they're werewolves. Like, the first time I saw it, I thought they were all vampires, right?
Which would have been ironic for a fake vampire to get killed by vampires.
Yeah.
But then even werewolves, then you still get a vampire versus werewolf situation.
Yeah. But again, I the first time I saw it, I made it all up because
you made it. It was the Buckleys, man. It was all the Buckleys.
Released in 2007. Tim saw it in 1993.
1993.
No, I would have saw it the year before, so I'm guessing like 2006. That's
probably, yeah.
Right when they were wrapping up production, probably.
Shut up, Josh.
All right.
Shut up, Josh.
Okay. Trivia time with Tim.
Trivia time with Tim.
There's some good ones. Don't miss them, Tim.
There are some
There's
good
some good ones.
I have a little piece of trivia. Josh is being... No, I'm kidding. Well, I mean, we already kind of touched on it a little bit. You know, how every character shows up in the other stories, and it kind of sets up a whole, narrative of where everything's starting. We also said another piece of trivia about Brian Cox. He's based off of, the look of John Carpenter, which I thought was pretty cool. Adam, you already mentioned about Season's Greetings, which, was the first appearance of Sam.
Yep.
And then Josh, like you guys mentioned all the good trivia, like the whole you gotta be fucking kidding me thing, the reference. But Billy is dressed similar to Chucky from Child's Play, with bib overalls and a striped long sleeve shirt and red hair.
Yep.
There was another one that I wanted to say.
There's a Stephen King reference. Did you get that one?
Yes. But before I mention that, actually, I'll let you say that, but let me say mine first.
Okay.
There's another Halloween John Carpenter reference. Adam Paquin's character Laurie is named after
Laurie Strode.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Josh.
On Halloween, were any of the pumpkins carved, like the Halloween pumpkin, I wonder? I didn't notice, but there was a hell of a lot of jack-o'-lanterns.
Especially at Rhonda's house.
Yeah. I bet you one of them is probably like that.
Oh,
I didn't see
probably.
any, but I bet you.
There's probably some very famous looking scenes or scenarios all throughout there, and I wouldn't doubt
but
it if the
on
one
the,
with the slight, is the
Yeah.
Halloween pumpkin is there.
I think it was the flashback scene, we see Christine, the character from the Stephen King series.
57 Plymouth Fury. 59 or 57?
Yeah.
Plymouth Fury.
Yeah, the Plymouth Fury and the same red and same license plate and everything. Boom, right there.
Sweet.
I think it's right as the bus drives by and the kid realizes they missed the wrong turn.
Wrong way.
Mm.
Wrong way.
Okay, so to clear up about the film. This is what it says here. The film was originally slated to be released in October 2007 for obviously a Halloween release. Warner Brothers, without explanation or reason, pulled the film from the schedule with no rescheduled date announced. One reason might have been because Saw 4 was coming out, and it was coming out around the same time, and they didn't want to, compete with, Saw, which at that time was, still
Major
trucking.
series.
Another possible reason was the film was buried by the studio, was the possible fallout from the box office disappointment of Superman Returns, which was co-written by Michael Dougherty and both produced and directed by Bryan Singer. So there was brief talk that the film would finally be released around Halloween 2008 and then possibly early 2009. Neither did materialize. The film was finally released straight to DVD in October 2009.
Nice.
Yeah. And I feel
Solid
like
2009.
I'm gonna be. I feel like I fucking saw it in 2007.
Did Blockbusters even exist in 2009?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I worked at one then. So maybe I did work there and got a screener.
I think your
Maybe.
story's falling apart, Tim.
No, I saw it before. It fucking saw a trailer for it.
Nice. All I know is that when it first came out on DVD and Blu-ray, I bought the Blu-ray right away. That was what happened with me. I couldn't wait. Saw it, got it. There's another piece of interesting trivia there, Tim. There's a couple more actually.
Oh well, there's a whole fucking page of it.
Well,
The Rock Quarry was originally supposed to be a pumpkin patch.
the baby.
Oh, the baby.
Mention the baby. Got to talk about the baby for a second. This was a
Baby.
good one. I like this one actually. So
Go ahead.
in the movie, when the sisters are trying to get Anna Paquin to come out to Sheep's Meadow, and they're like, "We got you a date. He's waiting for you," and it's this big, disgusting baby creature character.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Go
It's
ahead.
actually the same guy who played the grandchild or the large child from 13 Ghosts, and played the overgrown baby character, the ghost, the dead one, in that. And he's playing a
Love
baby
that
character
movie.
in this.
Love that movie so much.
13 Ghosts is fucking wonderful. I love it.
Meh. It was all right. Meh. I don't like the character design. Meh.
The
Yeah.
character, it has some of the best character design in any horror film. Go on with yourself.
Most of the jack-o'-lanterns in this movie weren't even real. They were all like ceramic or foam, and they had like a tagline at the end of the movie that no pumpkins were harmed during the making of the movie, which I thought was hilarious. And believe it or not all the kids you see trick-or-treating were actually kids. They actually filled a lot of the extras with little people, and because it was shot at night, and why, Adam? You look like you're like trying to hold in laughter or something.
No, I'm
This is
just
all right?
listening. I'm just listening. That's the light.
He's drunk.
He's drunk.
See the lighting?
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And actually, Josh, you are absolutely right. The 1958 Plymouth Fury from the movie Christine can be seen in the... Yeah, you did call it. Good job.
I did call
Not mad anymore, yeah.
It's kind of interesting though about the one where they filled a lot of the sequences with trick-or-treaters with little people, because like we had mentioned, Sam was specifically played by a child actor.
Yeah,
I'm surprised when you said that.
Well,
Do we see Sam outside in the dark? A few times, I guess.
well, a few times, but I mean, a lot of that could also be shot on set too. So it could have been, you know, like
I think outside it was probably a little person in it.
Yeah.
But it, you know, it just kind of comes back to you'd expect that they would have put a little person in the Sam character and then real kids doing the trick or treating, but they did the entire opposite. It was a kid playing Sam and little people playing the trick or treaters.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So that's the end of trivia time with Tim.
Trivia time with Tim. Trivia time with Tim. All right. Now we're going to do a final review. Each of us give our opinions, and then we're going to rate the movie.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
According to our new rating system. So, let's start with Tim.
Well, I'm going to. I might receive flack for this. I might not. I think this is probably one of the greatest Halloween movies ever made. And you guys know how I feel about Halloween.
Yeah.
But the difference is the John Carpenter Halloween really could have been taking place at any day. It could have been any time. There was no real Halloween theme. I mean, obviously there's Halloween elements throughout the story, but I feel that Trick or Treat is it's the Halloween version of a Christmas movie, where like it's a Christmas movie. You know what I mean? So like they really celebrate the holiday, and there's scenes throughout the movie that, you know, invoke memories of, like, you know, my Halloween experiences and stuff. And I don't know, I really liked the anthology aspect of this movie. I felt that it gave a little bit of, you know, freshness to, you know, the story if they would have just told it, you know, straight narrative. I like that they jumped around. I like that it actually kept you guessing with certain things. Special effects were fantastic. The character design was awesome.
Garbage.
Nope. I love Sam. Like I said earlier in the review, that I feel that his look, his just everything that he is, like, even though he's only in one movie, I put him up there with, you know, the other icons of horror, with, you know, Jason, Freddy, Michael. Like, he's just as iconic for me, and I wish that he would, you know, appear in more stuff.
Yeah.
Like if they did a sequel to Trick or Treat. But, you know, we can only hope. But as far as a rating, I give it an R.
He gives it an R.
For recommend.
For recommend. That's right. Josh!
So, this film, I like the anthology aspect, like Tim mentioned. I like the storyline. Great storyline. Characters, not so much.
Okay.
Designs, not so much. Far from one of the greatest films ever made, as Tim said.
I didn't say greatest film.
You
I
said
said
the greatest Halloween
Halloween
made.
film.
I said it was one of the greatest Halloween films. They
yeah.
celebrated the holiday of Halloween
I mean,
in this movie really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that they had like the rules. You had to follow the rules. I don't know. So it just felt. I don't know. I liked it.
You see,
I
you're
rated it
starting to get
pretty good.
wishy-washy on me here, Josh. Come on, man.
Pretty good. It's pretty good. I really do like Sam in the costume though. If they would have just kept it a mystery and just kept him in the little secret, you would have had an R. But the weird pumpkin thing.
Okay. So Josh is going with PG.
PG.
Okay. All right. So my final thoughts on it. I think that this is one of the best anthology films ever made. That's where I got to sit this in. This sits up there with Creepshow, to me. The way that the stories intertwine, the comic book look and feel, the over-the-top, you know, aspect of, you know, combining in a small, sleepy town of Ohio once a year when the Halloween festivities come out. You've got werewolves and zombies and vampires and fucking murders
Ghosts
and everything else.
and goblins,
Ghosts and goblins,
witches.
oh my! I love this as an anthology film, and it has quickly become a favorite in our household. Me and Mick watch this every year, and she loves it. And we watch it multiple times at Halloween, and I save it for Halloween because it's just that kind of an enjoyment flick for me. We introduced Jake to it, and he loves it, and he thinks Sam is one of the coolest characters. And I do too. I think that Sam is one of the best, without being a fully fleshed out character. The best part about Sam is that you didn't have to fully flesh him out. You understand who Sam is, because it's the embodiment of Halloween, the embodiment of Sam Hain himself, itself. You've got rules, and if you don't follow the rules, you get paid a visit. What else do you friggin' really need to know? And on top of that, he's in every sequence. And it was brought up, Tim made a great point about the fact that in the werewolf section, all the shit's hitting the fan, and who's sitting there on the log looking cute as fuck? Sam! You know what I mean? He's adorable as shit. And it's great. There's not too much I don't like about this movie. That's the problem. Is that this movie, to me, this is feel-good horror. It has everything that I really want to see in a good horror movie. It's got good story. It's got good characters, in my opinion. It's got great special effects. And at the end of it, it's not one of those movies that I go, nah, I might not ever watch it again. It's not even one of those movies that's like, it was good, but no, that was fucking great. I love it, and I can't wait to watch it again and another time. So, in this case, I'm going to have to give the movie a solid R rating. However, I would potentially, if we had it, give this movie a rating of X for excellent.
You're going
the
up.
highest rating.
Did you just make a fucking new one?
I think I made a new one, gentlemen. Rated X. Rated X will probably be the highest that we can give something.
It's just such a far cry from classics.
But it doesn't have to be a classic,
Yeah,
and it doesn't have to be down with the classics, because I have a very large eclectic taste in horror movies, like a lot of us do. Some of my favorite horror movies are the original Frankenstein, Texas
You're talking
Chainsaw
to the man
Massacre.
who loved Tusk. No one gets obscure more than me. I get it, but it tried to do too much in this film, I think.
I don't think it quite did
opinion.
enough, because I want more.
Yeah,
I'm so disappointed that Dougherty's never been able to get Part 2 off the ground, even though they officially announced Part 2 in development like 3 years ago. And it was at a festival screening of the movie. They came up and they actually had the title for it and everything. And he said, Warner Brothers is backing it. We're making this. Like, they said it was happening. And it just, all of a sudden, he's got Godzilla, King of Monsters under his belt and a whole bunch of other shit on the go. So he just hasn't been able to come around to it. I want more.
I'd like to see more Sam.
As long as he keeps the fucking mask on. So.
Yeah. Keep your fucking hood on.
Keep your fucking hood on.
Or Sam versus Pumpkinhead.
Daddy versus the child.
Daddy! Be quiet, little Pumpkinhead. Be quiet.
Keep your voice down.
Yeah.
Alright.
We have to terrorize the people to blow out the pumpkins.
You gotta help me with the eyes. Alright, gentlemen. With that, we're gonna call it for the night.
He's calling us, guys.
We're calling it.
He's calling us.
Good discussion, guys, and we will see everybody on the next episode. So, people out there, share the videos, like, subscribe, find us on Facebook. We're on all the major social media outlets. You can actually listen to the podcast on every major podcast system that there is. iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. We're on Spotify, everybody.
I know! It was so cool to find us on Spotify, I'm not gonna lie.
Check us out on Spotify. So, if you have any questions, if you have any ideas or thoughts, hit us up on social media. Let's talk about it. And until next time, Tim.
Stay spooky, everybody.
Josh.
Always check your candy.
Always check your candy.
Can you please end? Can that be your catchphrase? Like, completely out of context, like every episode. Always check your candy.
Always check your candy. Says the guy who runs a grocery store. Okay! Good night, everybody. See you next time.
Good night.